Let's see this guy here, if I can pick him up even. See if you guys get a look at him. There he is. He's kind of ugly. Today on In the Wood Yard, we've got a firewood delivery. We're going to talk about something very important. Firewood! Here we go. So today I've got a firewood delivery. It's for a customer that wanted 2 face cords or 2/3 of a cord about a week ago, but he said he didn't have his rack cleared out and ready to go. So I just took him 1 face cord or 1/3 of a cord a week ago. And then yesterday he got home and said, hey, I'm ready for another face cord. So he must be ready. Has to have it cleared out. So I'm going to load up in the truck another face cord of this mixed hardwood right here and deliver it to him. And I thought of a good thing to talk about today because I had a question that was asked on the channel that might be very interesting to a bunch of you. So we're going to talk about it right now. So the question that came up on the channel was from someone who is new to firewood. And that's fine. That's great. That's good that we have people that are new to firewood that are asking questions. I don't remember the guy's name and I don't want to point him out. All I want to do is talk about what his question was, because it was kind of a question that he didn't know that there was a lot of more to the question really than he was asking. He wanted to know, how much wood do you need for a year's worth of burning? So that's kind of open-ended. So those of you that have been on a long time know your own personal answer to that. And those of you that have been cutting wood and selling it kind of know the answer to that, but also know that there's a lot of possible answers to that question. And so in the response back to him, I said, well, that depends. You know, is the wood for sale? Are you selling the wood that you're going to need to sell it and make money for a year? Is the wood for a fire pit that you're going to be burning in your backyard that you want firewood for? Is the wood for heating your house that you want to know how much wood you're going to need to stay warm? Are you in a cold climate that you're going to need a lot more wood than you would if you're in a southern climate? Is the wood going into a wood boiler? Is the wood for a fireplace? Is the wood for a wood stove? Is it for camping for a year? There's a lot of questions that need to be answered to answer that question. And for those of you that have been doing wood, say your whole life, or you heat with wood, you know your own personal answer because you've got a lot of experience. But realize not everybody has the same experience you have or I have, or a guy who's a professional logger, a guy that has been heating his house for 30 years with firewood that has a boiler, and he knows exactly, depending on, you know, how much winter we have within probably a cord of what he's going to need one way or the other. He just knows because he's got experience. You got to realize not everybody is in the same point in burning wood that you may be, or maybe you're the guy that has a question that wants to know. Maybe you bought a house that has a wood stove and you don't know how much you're going to need for a winter in your area. So it's a good question. So I thought about talking about this particular topic. It might help some of you to realize that not everybody knows as much as you do, or for those of you that don't have a lot of experience, that there's a lot of people on the channel here that can help you. And I'm not saying I know everything. I'm at a certain point of knowledge, and so is the next guy, and so are some other guys, and all of us together is going to be way smarter than any one of us here on the channel. And there's 40,000 people on average every day, to 50,000 people, to as many as 90,000 people that watch my channel every day. They have a lot of knowledge. And one guy might have a lot of business knowledge and know how to run a business and make money profitably, but he might not know that much about firewood, whereas there's another guy that has been cutting firewood his whole life but has no concept of what it's like to run a business and actually make money and be profitable, but you might have a lot of information about wood. So everybody has input that they can put into this, and I just hope to be the guy that can relate, you know, all this stuff to you. So to answer the question properly, I guess I would say, is I would have to ask this question: what's the wood for? Are you having a fire in your fire pit in the backyard during the summer for camping? Or do you go camping? How much wood do you want to take when you go camping? Is your wood for a fireplace where you're burning it just for fun? Is the wood for a fireplace and you've got a very small house and it's a high efficiency stove and you can heat the whole house with it? Is the wood for a wood stove, and in that wood stove you can heat your whole house with it, or heat half of your house, or heat just one area of your house, say the basement or a side room? Is the wood for a wood furnace that heats the whole house and you got a blower on it that circulates the air and you've got, you know, a circulating fan? Is the wood for an outdoor wood boiler that you're feeding into your house and you can heat the whole house? Is the wood for an outdoor boiler and you're heating your house and a pole shed and your garage, and you've got units going to all those where you got heat exchangers in them. I mean, so that could open it up from, say, 1/3 of a cord to 20 or 30 full cords a year, depending on your situation. I have one guy that I sell wood to occasionally. He used to buy quite a bit. That he has a horse farm. It's a hobby horse farm, horse hobby farm, however he would say that. He's got his big house that he heats. He's got a guest house that he heats, and he heats the horse shed. And they have, I think, 24, 25 to 30 horses, something like that, because they board horses there. They heat that too. So he goes through a lot of wood. And a couple times he has bought 3 or 4 full cords from me in the past, before I started the YouTube channel, that I would deliver wood to, because at the end of the year he would run out of wood that he had that was ready, and he would buy, full cords from me just to keep it going, in the spring of the year like it is right now. So got cats running all around me down here. They're all over the place on the ground. So the where you're at and what you need makes a big difference. Now, backing up to the whole camp wood type thing. Now, if you're a person that has a camper at a campground, or you have fires in your backyard all the time, you may go through a full cord a year if you have quite a few fires. I know in our backyard, when my kids were home, when they were in high school, and they'd have friends over a lot, like 3 or 4 nights in a row all summer long, and then sometimes in the fall, sometimes in the spring, and then we'd have a fire in the fireplace. It wasn't unusual for me to go through 2 or 3 full cords a year just for fun, burning wood, and in the house. Now, in just my house, where I have a fireplace and I would burn wood through the winter, I might go through 2 full cords, so 6 face cords or so, and then outside maybe another full cord. So that's about what I would go through, but I'm not heating the whole house. It's just extra heat for the house, or to help out with the heating bill. And it would cut my heating bill in half by doing that, because I don't heat my house with wood. I live in town. I can't put a boiler in because they're not allowed. I don't really want to retrofit a wood stove into my house, because my goal is in a few 4 or 5 years, I don't know, something like that. My wife and I will sell it, downsize, move farther out of town, then maybe I'll have a wood stove. I don't know. Now, if you're heating with wood, I have a lot of guys that I sell to that heat with wood, that have a high efficiency stove, and they are heating their downstairs and then upper level. And one guy even heats in his garage. He actually has 2 stoves. So in that situation, one guy I know in particular has a wood stove, and he buys all his wood from me. He goes through about 4 full cords a year. That's about what he goes through, so 12 face cords. So that's about what he's going through. Now, another guy that I sell to heats his house, and he has not a high efficiency stove. It's just a stove in his basement. He goes through about 5 full cords a year, about 15 face cords is what he goes through. And he said it just depends on how cold it is and how much he goes through, but he told me 12 on the minimum to 15 face cords, so 4 or 5 full cords. Now, my brother Eric, on the other hand, those of you who've seen him on the channel, he has an outdoor wood boiler. And his wood boiler is not real efficient. He's just got an average size house. He might have, I don't know, 1,1700 square foot house. It's a 3-bedroom ranch, 4-bedroom ranch, whatever it is he has. And he goes through between 20 and 25 face cords. So somewhere between 7 and 8 full cords, somewhere in there is what he goes through. When my dad was heating his house with firewood, he would go through about 12 to 15 full cords. So somewhere in that 4 to 5 full cord range. Now, I know of a guy, and I don't sell wood to him, I just know him. He's a guy that I know. He has a boiler, and he heats his house and his garage. And in his boiler, he goes through at least 30 to 35 face cords a year. So he's burning up 10 to 12 full cords of wood every year in his boiler, and he'll burn anything, it doesn't matter. And I do know that he burns wood that isn't always fully seasoned, and because of that, his wood supply that he's burning doesn't have to be really dry, but because it's not really dry when he's burning it, it's not as efficient. So he's not getting as much heat out of it as he would if it was dry. He just throws anything in there, punky, wet, dry, fresh cut, he doesn't care, it just burns. So that's what he does. So that answer can vary a lot, but I would say in general, the amount of wood that most people are burning if they're heating their house is going to be anywhere from, on the low end, probably 6 face cords as a minimum to as much as 30 face cords. So 2 full cords to 10. somewhere in there. So it really depends on how well insulated your house is, how big of a house you have, how warm you like it. It can vary a lot. So in the comments, what I would like you guys to do right now, especially if you heat with wood, let me know, how big is your house? How much wood do you go through in a year? And also, it might be good to give me an idea of where you live. You don't have to give me your address or anything like that. But say you live in central Iowa or central Illinois or central Missouri or northern Texas. How much wood do you guys go through? And it'd be interesting just to find out. It might be nice for all you to kind of talk about this amongst yourself on the channel and educate everybody. Another thing to consider that I haven't talked at all about yet, what kind of wood are you burning? If you're burning wood that has low heat value, if you're burning aspen, if you're burning, say, white pine, ponderosa pine, if you're burning something like box elder, soft maple, what else puts out? Willow, you know, stuff that doesn't have a high heating value, cottonwood, something that puts out low heating value, you're going to need a lot more wood. But if you're burning high output wood, as far as how much heat it puts out, the BTUs it puts out per cord or per ton, you're probably looking at something like hickory, almond wood, stuff like bitternut hickory, stuff like Osage orange, maybe going down the scale a little bit on wood that's not quite as good of heat, but still good. It's just not as high as those woods. Locust would be high on that. Iron would be high on that. We're in the high 20, 28, 29, 27, 31, 32 BTUs on the scale, if you look at the BTU scale. And then going down from there, you might be on, like, say, elm, oak, ash. What else would be in that range? Birch, things like that. Stuff that's in the mid to low 20 million BTUs. That would be your mid-range wood, even though a lot of you think oak is the best wood ever made. No, it's not. There's a lot of wood that's better. And then lower below that, you would have your wood that would be like your soft maple, your box elder, aspen, stuff that puts out less BTUs. So the kind of wood you burn is going to make a big difference. Now, something a lot of you might not know, but all wood by ton puts out the same BTUs. So if you take a ton of hickory, you're going to have so many BTUs. If you take a pine, say white pine, you're going to have so many BTUs. But that ton of pine, the pile will be twice as big as the hickory, because they still put out, that ton will put out the same amount of BTUs, but you're going to have a certain amount of that ton of hickory is going to be half as much wood as the white pine, because the white pine is a less dense wood, has more air in it, puts out less BTUs, whereas the hickory puts a lot more out. So depending on your area and what kind of wood you have, it's going to vary. So that's something else you have to look at. So it's actually much more complicated and much more detailed of an answer than I can give just in a short amount of time, but something we'll talk about in the future, maybe a little bit more. We're going to go load some wood right now. So the truck is backed up to the pile of wood here, and I'm starting to work on the collapsed area where it kind of went down here, trying to get some of the stuff that looks like it's gonna fall again or more, because when it melted, this whole corner kind of let loose on me here. So I'm just kind of getting it off the ground, picking it up before it gets more into the mud and soup. Like I said, this is for a single face cord or a third of a cord, however you like to say it. Truckload, rick, ruck, schmuck, luck, whatever you want to call it. Really don't care. I know it's different everywhere. And that's another thing that a lot of people, they get real defensive on. Well, it's not what you call it. It's not official. It's a third of a cord. There can be no other measurements. Well, no, you can call it whatever you want. If everybody in your area calls it a third of a cord, call it a third of a cord. If everybody in your area calls it a face cord, call it a face cord. If everybody in your area calls it a rick, call it a rick. If everybody in your area calls it a pickup load, call it a pickup load. And my belief is if two parties agree on a price on a certain volume of wood, it shouldn't matter to anybody else what you call it. And the less we can have the government telling us what to do and what not to do, I think the better off we'll all be. So there you go. There's my 2 cents for the day. Looks like this cat wants to get thrown into the truck. This is the one that went for the ride the other day with me, didn't she? She's got a little belly on her. She's gonna have some babies. And we got another surprise to show y'all. Y'all, or yous guys if you're from Minnesota. Y'all if you're from the South. And if you're from the Midwest, you could say yous guys or fellas, guys and gals. We got 2 new cats we're gonna show you in a little while. Yes, 2 new ones showed up here. Guy that Bert works with, I believe, had to move or something. I don't know, he's getting rid of 2 cats. So Bert says, I'll take them. So we got 2 new cats coming. Yeah, you're gonna get hit up there, kitty. Okay, time to speed this up. Enough chit chat. Look at what I created once again. A load of wood. Now I got to get through this mud here because it's about 45 degrees and sunny today, so very squishy. I'm going to try to step on these chunks of wood here because I just washed off my boots on the, this is not bad here, just washed off my boots on the snow back there. Kind of shuffled around and got all the mud off because it's about 6 inches of slop today. All right, I'm gonna try to pull out of here. You can see where I pulled in. Very squishy. So we're gonna pull out, get over there on some decent pavement, and I gotta go see the new cats because Bert got 2 new cats. I saw them out here running around, but I haven't really seen them up close. We're gonna go check them out. Well, there's the slime I just came out of. Slicky, slicky snot. I didn't want to tear it up any worse than I had to, so I kind of went slow but fast enough to not get stuck because it's pretty soft. Okay, let's go look at the cats. For you cat haters, you're going to want to skip the next 1 minute. For you cat lovers, you're going to be in heaven. It's going to be cat time because I think they're hungry. They've been meowing around me here, and we're going to go feed them real quick. So here they are. Let's go get some food. 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 Tina, eat your food. These are the 5 regulars. Where's the other 2? Where's the new ones? Here comes one right here. There's a new one. It's kind of an ugly cat. Scrawny little fella. Where's the other one? There he is. Here's the other one right here. It's another furry one, but it looks like a nicer one. There he is. Yeah, just another furry one. Okay, food. Here we go. Food time. Watch out so I can get in here. Oh, looks like we're getting low on cat food. Okay, let's start over here for the new guys. Holy smokes, I'm just gonna have to dump it out. It's right down to nothing here. There's some. There's some. There's some more. Let's put some more over here. Watch out, Mr. Gray. There you go. The bucket is empty. Now, just because I'm a nice guy, where'd the other one go? We're still missing one. Oh, here he comes again. That is a weird looking cat. It's like got a light mark on its nose, and he's got like splotches. Looks like he's been in a fire or something. He's kind of messed up. Okay, I'm gonna open up a can of deliciousness here. Some hot food for you guys, even though it's warm out today. I've got a can of hot food in here. Ooh, it's toasty warm. Okay, here we go. Let's put this down. Watch out so I can get in here, guys. Watch out. Don't go biting my hand. Okay, let's put a little bit over here. Oops, watch out, watch out, watch out. A little bit there, a little bit there, a little bit here. Mr. Gray is all calm, We'll give him a little bit. I'm gonna put the can over there. They can lick that out. There you go. Cat Fest is on. Let's see this guy here if I can pick him up even. See if you guys get a look at him. There he is. He's kind of ugly. I don't know how to describe him. Oh, down he goes. And then the other one is this little furry one here. This one right here is a new one. So the two new ones are kind of scrawny compared to the other ones. They look skinny. These cats, the regulars, are all fat. They're getting fat, but these two new guys, they're going to have to fight for food because the big fat guys just get right in there and gobble it all up. I think I'll open one more can just because I'm a nice guy and I'm going to be gone for a few days. Cat Fest. Okay, we're going to deliver some wood right now. I am home from my delivery that I just did, and the day is ended, and tomorrow I'm going beaver trapping with my brother Ken. We've already been beaver trapping for a little while in the southern zone. We're going to do some more. So if you want to see beaver trapping videos, go to my other channel, Out of the Wood Yard. We're going trapping because we have beaver fever. That's right. Tomorrow, 5:30 a.m. I have another video for you. Good night, everybody.